I don't know about you guys, but I've always wished that the next-gen Piston Cup racer fleet had a little bit more of a diversified color palette. Now, what do I mean by that? So many of the racers have very similar, if not the exact same kind of color scheme. You look at Spiky Phillips, Eric Breaker, Conrad Camber, Steve Slick LePage, Mafast Fong, Noah Gochek. They all kind of exist. Bury the Petals in there too, within that bluish, green, little purple maybe color scheme paint job. And it is so monotonous and repetitive. That's why racers like George Newman for Leakless, Flipped Over for Intersection stand out to me so much. Rich Mixon as well as some of my favorites because, hey, they don't fall into that category of just monotonous blue-green all day long. So that is also why we're here today reviewing a custom, not only car, but sponsor Truxedo. So creative, so amazing. I can't wait to get into the nitty-gritty with this, but obviously, got to give credit to the customizers here. So the graphics, the sponsor, all of that created by Thomas Hatfield. And then Jim Scavenger translated to real life in diecast form. And you guys probably have heard that combination of names before when we reviewed another one of their works, Dr. Brakenstein here, about a couple months ago now. There are 5 in total at the moment. And yes, the next one here is going to be Truxedo, who is my personal favorite, and that is why he is being included in the 12 Days of Christmas. And not the other ones. I'm sorry, I will review these other 3 eventually, but they will not be included in the 12 Days of Christmas this year. We'll get to the shoutouts later, but let's just dive on in. This is Anthony Fenders, by the way. That name was created by Thomas Hatfield. So obviously, big shout outs to both Thomas and Jim. They did a tremendous job with bringing this guy to life here. I absolutely just love the idea of having a Truxedo sponsor like this. We've seen more so through the video games. I feel like Fimic Missile has a tuxedo paint job from Cars Fast as Lightning, the mobile game, right? What if he got that paint job or got that quote-unquote suit through Truxedo? It makes perfect sense. I love the combination of truck and tuxedo. It's so creative. It feels really like something that Disney and Pixar would have come up with. They come up with cool puns like this all the time, right? Like revolting or nitroade, nitro kind of combined with Gator or Powerade, right? This feels like something they would do, which is why I love it so much. But you can see here with kind of the button-up tie there, the bow tie and the suit with the white pinstripes down the hood. Looks so good. It's almost like a metallic shade of black paint. You could see some sparkling in there, which just adds to the kind of elegance of this racer in particular here. Do we ever see a black colored racer like this? No, it's unheard of. So that's why I just love these color schemes. Some of the other ones that they did, Jim and Thomas being, maybe do fit into that blue-green kind of like, I think Ratchet over there is a nice one, but the color scheme is similar to what I was complaining about, and I have to be, can't be a hypocrite, I have to be fair and consistent. I think Sub-Zero, very similar color scheme to Cam Spinner and Nick Shift. So that's why those you might not see for another month or so being reviewed. Hey, I'm just a human. I like to do my favorites here first. And although I did Dr. Brakenstein first, Truxedo's always been my favorite. I've always planned to save him for this series here. So getting to the wheels here, I absolutely love that Jim Scavenger used these in particular with black and reddish orange trim. Just really fits the paint job, obviously, with the number 8 there. Now, I love the font for that 8. Again, just really accentuating the elegance and the just utmost regard that you kind of hold tuxedo shops or like a men's warehouse with. Like, maybe is that fair? But that's just kind of what we think when we go into like a fine, like luxury clothing type of store. And that 8 really gives off that kind of vibe. You got the contingency sponsors there, Piston Up, Combustor, Carbon Cyber, and Synergy. The arrow indicating to the pit crew where to lift them up at to do some work. You got the Truxedo text there. I love how he fits the like suit and tie, the bow tie into the U there. Like that is just, again, so creative. You got the gas cap here in the back, which is nice, but that's not anything they did. That's just on the next gen model to begin with. You got the 8 there on the roof flaps, window bars. This was a Chinese, I think. Yeah, made in China racer. So this is an old one that Jim Scavenger used for the custom. I love the white spoiler or wing here on the back too. Again, just creates that contrast from the entirely black paint job for the most part. Looks really good and kind of symbolizes like the undershirt, like the collared dress shirt underneath the jacket itself, right? So I thought that was really cool. Really thought out, creative, like I said, design. You got the Truxedo text there on the back, and he's got some rookie yellow racing stripes because he's a rookie in our head canon of a world here. We don't see them in Cars 3, so let's assume they start racing. Hey, this year, 2024 was their debut. Although Thomas Hatfield created these about a couple years ago now, and you've also probably heard the combination of Thomas Hatfield and Jim Scavenger through all of the missing sponsor racers that they did together: Fiber Fuel Retread, HTB, Taco Mint, Sidewall Shine, etc., Shifty Drug. I reviewed all of those already over the last couple years, but now we're on to these new, completely created by Thomas Hatfield custom, just completely original designs here. And then Jim Scavenger went the extra mile to do some pit stop barriers for me here, or whatever you want to call them, blast walls they've been referred to before. So you get a little bit more of a closer look here at the Truxedo logo, which just looks great. If we could focus, there we go. Awesome. So you guys got to let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Now I know you're like, what the hell, Mr. Doc? We haven't even seen you review them all yet. We can't come up with a favorite. I understand. But you can kind of see them in the background. Maybe you have an inkling of an idea as to who's your favorite. Before we sign off here, I do want to compare him to a couple other racers. I feel like that's only fair. He's got to go through the vetting process. Even though no one's really an apt comparison, I just wanted to compare him to a couple other racers that share his model. So you got Bubba Wheelhouse here, the Thailand version of him. Different wing, though, I will say that. Has the windows as part of the metal body as well. Aaron Clocker here as well. See, Aaron Clocker's got a nice paint job as well. The problem with Aaron Clocker, I feel, though, is like Jonas Carver's has, again, such a similar paint job to him. They both, echo each other. Dark maroon, red, some black and white in there. So it's like, really? Come on. We couldn't have differentiated them a little bit more, especially in a world where so many of the bluish green next gens imitate each other. I think Tim Treadless is a really good design with the almost like dark color, black, more of a burnt orange though, and then you got the bright, vibrant orange for the contrast, which looks really good, especially on the Thailand version here. Obviously, the Chinese version was not as bright of an orange, and then you have the metallic version, which is pretty cool in and of itself. The metallic variant, not really an intentional metallic release. Also decided to bring out Steve Slick LePage. I just feel like maybe as a base color, it's the closest you get to Truxedo in terms of that really dark, like foundation, I guess I should say. Dark forest green. Probably the closest thing to black on the color spectrum that the next gens really offer. The leakless George Newman has a little bit of black in his design as well. It's just a unique color you don't really think of seeing too much. Kind of like white with the Apple racers, right? That's why I think they stand out so well. Now, I do want to put on the screen there Thomas Hatfield's original graphics that he did that inspired this design, just so you can see a side-by-side comparison. I do know the model is not the same. Jim Scavenger used the other model. I don't know why, to be completely frank, but it doesn't really matter to me. And yeah, let's get on now with the shoutouts for day 5 of the 12 days of Christmas here as we bring in the entire squad. These are all very close racers. They know each other like the back of their hand because they were put in this world. They came in this world together, and they will see it through together as well as we go through and review each of them. I don't know what the next one will be. It'll probably be either Ratchet or Whole Fuels. I feel like a lot of people actually suggested Sub-Zero, though. I don't know, maybe just based off the name, or maybe you knew what he looked like, because I don't think too many people have seen these unless you're on the like Facebook communities and all that. So, anyways, Sensei Luminous 3828 suggested next gen Truxedo. So thank you to her. Obviously, you've heard that name. Sensei Luminous made all the damaged Piston Cup World Grand Prix next gen racers on my channel. And the Fresh Trunk, another really close friend of mine who is in Collectors Link, the YouTube collaborative group. Sensei Luminous also used to be in that group, but she doesn't really upload anymore, which is totally cool. Sometimes it's good to just step back and enjoy the hobby, which is what we're doing now during the holiday season. Speaking of which, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Let me know in the comment section below what you're up to for the holidays. Are your finals done? Are you done with school? What's the work situation looking like? Do you have to go in Monday next week before Christmas Eve? Do you have to go in? Really? That would really suck. I think I actually will have to go in, but that's fine. That's totally fine, because then the next days, I'll have the next week off pretty much. So I will see you guys soon for, tomorrow, day 6. Thanks as always for watching. Bye now.